Everybody. Welcome to Gold Tap training session this morning. And what we're going to be covering today is what we call the fundamental bite-sized briefing. As you may be aware, that Gold Tap and I have joined forces to deliver mental health first aider training within this sector. Something I'm really passionate about is delivering mental health first aider training, not just for a tick box exercise, but actually to make a difference. The Fundamental Wellbeing series is a set of training courses which we're delivering here at Gold Tap. And they're designed to give access to the delegates to have a real life understanding of mental health and mental ill health, and also to increase the mental health literacy amongst all of our attendees and to make a difference. And it's skills to help people recognize the decline in levels of well-being within people around them, in themselves or their colleagues. But also, it's about having confidence, in identifying a range of mental ill health conditions and mental health conditions and concerns. And then it's not only just confidence, it's also having the confidence to approach someone, to approach somebody in the right way, which we go on to in a moment, and you'll see exactly where I'm coming from this. But actually, by the end of today, you will be leaving this course with some practical skills and some new tools of actually how to approach somebody and identify if they're in a crisis, and also what kind of action to take. And you'll see that as we're going through this. But, most of all, it's also about reducing stigma, isn't it? It's like, we all talk about mental health being really much more aware and open nowadays, but there's still quite a bit of stigma around it, and that's what we're aiming to do. So we're running the Fundamental Wellbeing Supporter course. So this is a one-day course here at the Mason offices, but I'll talk about other delivery channels later on. But the one-day supporter course is really for managers and team leaders, people that manage people. So this isn't a full-blown first aider course. This is for just an awareness, skills training, and to help people become equipped with those abilities to make an approach and to identify, see if anyone's struggling with their mental health. And the second course we're offering is the fully fledged mental health first aider training. And this is where we at Gold Tap deliver training to designated people within your business to be mental health first aiders, so that they are equipped with the skills, the knowledge, the information to actually observe and interact and become a support lifeline to your workforce. So it's different by design, because a lot of the emphasis here is not just about, okay, well, off you go, go into the big wide world, you're trained. No, we want to keep a long-term relationship with you, and with the first aider trainers that we train, we're here to help. So as you're developing your skills as a mental health first aider trainer, we're here all the time to work with you. Any comments and concerns, you're not left on your own, is what I'm saying. We're here all the way. And our very next course that we've got coming up is for the 1st and 2nd of December. And I believe we've got a few spaces left on that one. And that one is the Mental Health First Aider Training, which is a 2-day course at the Gold Taps Mason Training Centre here, just outside of Maidstone. And the course cost for that is £350 a person. But with mindset and mental health stuff, not all of us are kind of exposed how to deal with somebody. And I want you just to imagine what it'd be like to be able to step in and help that person with knowledge and courage and confidence and make a real difference to that neighbour, your colleague, or your friend. Because we all at times, we're called on to be a hero, aren't we? We have to be that person when someone calls us for help, they get that knock on the door. So we're on a mission here at Gold Tap to change ordinary people into extraordinary. We want to fill the UK workplaces with heroes on standby that are trained with confidence as well as confidence. We forget that our mind and body are connected as one, don't we? We go to the old ways of thinking is that, well, if there's something wrong with your body, you go to the hospital, and if something wrong with your mind, you go to a psychotherapist or religion or something else. But actually, mental health is all about mind and body as one, right? And when we tend to think of mental health, unfortunately, because of the way that the media work and the way we've been kind of used to hearing all the stories, a lot of people think about the words mental health in a negative way. But it's not actually. We need to think about mental health as part of our overall being, our mind and body combined as one. And mental health is just like saying physical health. It's about positivity, well-being, happy, being able to cope. Someone said positive earlier on. And it's being in that good state of mind where you're able to deal with life's challenges. Because let's face it, we're all on a roller coaster of life, aren't we? So look at what their World Health Organization has to say about it. The WHO say that a state of well-being in which every individual can realize their own potential and you can cope with the normal stresses of life, and you're able to work productively and fruitfully at work and make a contribution to community and life. So that's from the WHO, but actually this has something different. We've spoken about mental health there. What about mental ill health? Ah, right, now this is the stuff, isn't it, that most of us think is mental health. It's actually mental ill health, just like physical health, physical unwell, it's mental ill health. And the scary thing is that 1 in 4 people have a mental health problem every year. This is scary, right? And 1 in 6 people have an experience of a common mental health problem in the past week. Absolutely ridiculous. And 1 in 3 people that have got a serious long-term physical health problem also have a mental health problem as well. And this next one just this hurts. Right? 1 in 10 kids, 1 in 10 children have a clinically diagnosable mental health problem. Like, this is crazy. We've got to do something about this. We need to make some changes, don't we, to help people not get sucked into this negativity. But look at this, 75% of people with a diagnosable mental illness receive no treatment at all. Why is that, do we wonder? I mean, if you've got something buzzing around in your mind and you've got some ideas, please chuck it in the chat here so we can all see it and share it. 90% of people, of UK employees, feel unable to disclose what's challenging them, with mental health to their employer. Crikey. So, I mean, I was talking to somebody about this a little while ago, and what came out of this is one of the big benefits about having mental health first aiders within your workplace is it's a stepping stone between the employee and HR. Now, we're not here to take anything away from HR, we completely get that. But what we found with the mental health first aiders is they become a unofficial stepping stone. So if someone is having a bit of a challenge and they're a bit unsure what to do, they've got someone they can talk to within the business, i.e. a mental health first aider, without making it official within the HR. And that solved so much. We need to look also at some helpful wellbeing strategies, because when we are dealing with good wellbeing strategies, we're able to deal with stuff that comes into our pot. We can empty some of the stress away. We can let go of stuff. We can give it away so we can deal with a bit more, of course. But if we never let go of that stress, we're completely full up and stressed. And as soon as anything comes in, it's an overflow. Let's look at this next screen. If we think about it like a set of traffic lights, green is good to go, right? This is in our well zone, and the red is obviously the traffic light stop. And this first slide is about changes in feelings. So when we're good to go, we have normal ups and downs as everyday life, right? And we're calm and patient and we're confident and happy. But when we get in that negative place, we start to go down the scale, the yellow and the orange, down towards the red. And when someone's normally up and down and they're pretty buoyant, when we start to see them becoming overwhelmed and unable to deal with that stuff and unable to cope, and they have like almost a sense of doom, that's a bit of an alarm bell. And it's the same as people that are normally confident and happy. If you suddenly start seeing them becoming sad, and not their normal bouncy self, and then the end degree, of course, is they become depressed. How about thinking? Thinking is also the stuff that goes on in our mind, and we have around 6,000 thoughts a day, and it's up to us which ones we want to entertain. But when we're in a good sense of humor, when we're in that green, good to go place, we just take life with a stride, right? But when we get into that red, unhealth, stressful mode, we become resilient. We become non-compliant and resisting. We don't want to do that. And if we can't take things in our stride, this of course leads to those negative places of suicidal thoughts, disengaging, and don't want to be bad behavior. So someone that is normally always physically active and doing stuff and socially active and present and performing well, we start to see them disengaging. We start to see them actually not being present and not able to perform their normal tasks and duties. And let's look at those physical changes, because when we're good and happy in the green zone, we sleep well, right? We don't belong to that 3 a.m. wide awake morning club, which some people do when they're thinking about stuff early hours of the morning, which is creating anxiety. And when people are in that good zone, they feel energetic, but we can see the slippery slope. And remember, these are all alarm bells. These are the alarm bells of someone starting that slope going down. And someone that goes from sleeping normal just to not sleeping at all is because they've got stuff going on in their mind. It needs to be clear. It's time to act. I mentioned earlier on about ACT. when we're looking at this, we need to think, first of all, that A, which is approach, So we need to think about how we approach somebody because we can't just literally go up to somebody and say, hey, you look depressed. It's not going to work, is it, right? We need to think and be trained about how we approach people so we can gain that trust and respect and the person is able to feel comfortable sharing with. So I mentioned to you the words ACT, A-C-T. First of all is approach. Secondly, C, crisis. We need to understand what is a crisis because a mental health emergency should always be taken as seriously as someone's laying there because they've broken their bones. It's as important as that. Just because we can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And a crisis might include things like, severe influence under substances and self-harming, something that's becoming much more apparent these days, especially in the younger generation. And if we start to see someone who's extraordinarily anxious and panic attacks, these are all stuff that we need to understand. And if we are seeing someone in a state of crisis, we need to be getting backup. And the backup can be the first point of call, which is the mental health first aiders, which we're training within your organisation here at GoldTap. But don't forget, we're not training mental health first aiders to be psychotherapists or therapists. That's not what it's all about. It's about being that intervention. It's about being that person as that stepping stone to go, hey, we're with you on this. This find a solution. But also, there's other signposts of people who seriously need ongoing help because as a mental health first aider, you will not be a therapist. Okay, you're not there to take and carry on the burden of somebody else. You're there as a first respondent. You're there like the paramedic that turns up the scene and then organises the right support and backup for that person. And there's a list of the kind of support mechanisms that we will give you as a mental health act, which is talk. We need to be talking about things as well. If someone is experiencing this stress or emotional distress or health, we need to know that they can share and they can give us their information in total confidence and we can help them progress. Okay, so that's it for today. Look, we're bang on time, 12:30. So today's bite-sized briefing really just touched on the core principles of what we're delivering with the mental health first aid training and also the support training as well. And we looked at what is mental health and what is a mental health problem. We looked at the alarm bells, of course, of declining well-being and also how to